While camping on Prince Edward Island, we did an interview with Mitch Cormier of CBC Radio, which we also filmed.
Last February, just as the world was slipping toward a pandemic, Larry and Alice Grimm closed the door to their Florida home for the last time. They jumped into their pickup with the RV attached and headed out to join the growing group of people who live in their campers full time. Now, COVID didn't force the change, but it certainly had an impact in the 19 months that they've been, nomads. Larry and Alice are waking up in Maine this morning. They spent 3 weeks enjoying all that Prince Edward Island has to offer. And last week, while they were here, we had a chance to talk about life on the road and the impact that COVID has had on full-time RVers. I guess, first off, what's it like camping in late September in PEI?
It's awesome, I guess, in one word. The beaches are amazing. We really love the ocean. And, I mean, it's an island, so there's so much of it here.
And what I love is I'm from Florida, and when I see cliffs, especially red sand and red cliffs, I'm in another world.
So how long had you been planning to come to Prince Edward Island?
So last summer, we escaped Florida and went to Ontario, and I grew up in Ontario, and I'd never been to the Maritime Provinces, and it's something I've always wanted to do. So we have a nephew that lives in Halifax, and so we kind of built our whole maritime visit around visiting him.
And I'm curious as to what it's been like to be on the road for now. You're into the second year of this adventure.
Yes, exactly.
What was the moment where you decided we don't need a house anymore? We can make it okay with our truck and our fifth wheel.
That's his fault.
That's a long question. Yeah, so basically what it comes down to, I've worked for 30 years. Alice has worked for 30 years. And I ended up getting rheumatoid arthritis. And I knew that I was going to have to change something. And not working would really bring down the stress level. So I said to Alice, what do you think about moving into an RV?
Yeah, what he did was show me other YouTubers that were parked by mountains and lakes and streams and said, this is what we're going to do. We haven't quite gotten there yet, but we've parked close enough that we can walk to the beach, so that's good enough for me.
And this decision was made just as the pandemic was beginning.
Yeah, so about 6 months before we sold our house, we started, preparing the house for sale and selling everything that we owned. I mean, everything. We have one small storage unit left. And then when we sold the house, it was in February 2020, and then that's when the pandemic went nuts.
We actually drove away from our home the day they named the virus. We were clueless.
February 11th.
What's it like to do that, to pull out of the driveway for the last time and realize everything we have is the 35 feet or 40 feet behind us?
Yeah, that was actually a very emotional moment. Closing the door for the last time in a house that we raised our kids in for 23 years. That was tough.
Yeah.
That was very tough.
It was scary, but you know how it's exciting too, because we wanted to get out of the routine, the rut. We knew the house was empty, the kids were out of the house, the walls were echoing, and it was time to do something different.
And what was the goal, with making this change?
I think the goal for me was to get healthy.
Yeah.
And I knew that reducing stress was going to be something that would be really good for my body and my mind, too. And we will go back to working, and we're going to do some kind of work. But for right now, we're just enjoying traveling.
Yeah.
And so is there a recognized sort of pattern or a way to be a full-time RVer in North America? Is it?
Yeah, it's so different right now.
Yeah, because of what's happened, it's totally different. A lot of full-time travelers have bought property, which they didn't think they would do because of everything that's happened. Like for us, when we first started, Florida campgrounds shut down, so we were stranded, and we had to rent this kind of sketchy private property for 2 months because we had no place to go. So this is a different way of doing it, and we figured because we've been through this, we can handle anything else. Normally, from what we've seen before the pandemic, you start out like you're on vacation because you're new at it, and then you realize we need to slow down, we need to enjoy.
So 18 months in, is the vacation still underway? Is it?
Yeah, well, it is definitely here in PEI. There's so much stuff to see. I mean, how much stuff have we seen since we've been here in PEI?
I think I counted 10 lighthouses on PEI.
It's got to be at least 10. And I mean, some of them you can climb up in, and the beaches. I mean, we could actually be here probably for another 3 weeks and still not see all the stuff here on PEI.
But we have to leave Monday. I'm so sad.
Well, I think if you were here for another 3 weeks, camping would probably be ending here. How much do the seasons impact what you do?
Yeah, well, so we chase a certain temperature. So the reason we come to Canada during the summer is we love that, 60-degree morning, 65-degree morning, and that 75-degree high. So Canada is great for that. I know we had a couple of hot days, no big deal, but we want to stay out of the 80-degree temperatures, basically. Yeah,
most full-timers will actually go west, northwest in the States, so that they can cool off. But there was this major heat wave, so they're quite jealous that we were able to go to Canada and escape that heat wave.
And that's partially because you're a dual citizen, Larry.
Yes.
Correct, right. Yeah, so we were able to come over a little earlier. So most Americans couldn't come until August 9th. We came in July because I was born in Canada. I'm a Canadian citizen. One of the things I wanted to do while I was here was get my Canadian passport, which I've never had, because they've changing some of the rules. But, that's part of, the whole thing about coming to the Maritimes.
And when you get to a place and you're here for 3 weeks and you're going to be leaving today because this is going to air on Monday, you're going to be leaving probably today or tomorrow. Do you set goals? Do you know exactly what you want to do when you arrive somewhere, or do you figure it out once you get there?
That's up to me.
Yeah, she's the
so
planner.
How much planning do you do, Alice?
I do a lot of Google research, and I basically look at mainly the tourist sites. So thank you, all those websites. I look for what are the number one things to do when you're in New Brunswick or you're on Five Islands and then here on PEI. Now, PEI has something like 63 lighthouses, so I had to pick which lighthouses we could go to. And so I pull out a map and I say, okay, we need to go to this southernmost point. What can we hit along the way?
Have there been days that fifth wheel has been really small? Or?
No, not really. We actually could use a smaller.
Yes.
We could actually use a smaller
we want to downsize, seriously.
It's funny. You don't really need... Once you move, we had a 3,000 square foot house. Yeah. Once we moved into the RV, we're like, we really could go smaller. It's kind of funny. That's how it's worked over the last year and a half.
Because we don't really spend that much time inside the RV.
Right.
So it's you eat, you sleep, you chill out at night. But having a smaller RV makes it easier to get campsites. It makes it easier to move around.
And you're using campsites, so you're not going onto public land and
we pretty much are almost exclusively national parks, state or provincial parks, and sometimes local or county parks. But we really don't like to do commercial parks as much because there's so much beautiful national and state parks out there.
And there's a revenue issue as well. I mean, those parks that you just mentioned are usually a little cheaper than the commercial.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the park rat right now, which is in PEI National Park, is gorgeous, and it's really not expensive. It's full service. It's amazing.
So I know you're generating a little revenue through your YouTube channel and some of the online stuff you do. Have you figured out how long you're going to be out here before you have to, as you say, maybe go back to work? Or?
I don't know. I don't think we're not really financially stressed to go back to work yet. It's more like we're finding a purpose, and YouTube is finding our purpose for right now. But who knows how long that will last for. But we're kind of just going kind of day by day, which is weird because most of our lives have been pretty structured.
And what's Nomadland done for you and other full-timers? Alice, why are you laughing so much?
I was really looking forward to that movie. And then the way they showed Nomads is like they were forced to be nomads, that they either had some sort of emotional problem or they had some sort of work problem. And we chose this. And some people are like, you gave up that gorgeous house on acreage to do this. We chose to do this. This is our goal. We weren't forced to do this, and we are loving it.
Yeah.
And like Larry says, we don't poop in a bucket.
No, I imagine your washroom is much nicer than the 5-gallon bucket.
Right.
Has it been what you expected it to be?
I think it's been, every day is a little different. And that's the whole idea of this lifestyle is you have a lot more variety in your life. Some days are awesome, and we've definitely had our bad days. And, won't candy coat it. It's not all great. You got two people who've been together for 36 years, and you're in a small space. So sometimes that can be tough. But there are challenges of traveling and moving. We move about every 2 weeks, and that sometimes is challenging.
Well,
things break.
Well, we're glad you spent 3 weeks with us here on PEI, and thanks for spending a bit of time with us here in the backyard of the CBC.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. This has been awesome.
Yeah.